Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibottom coming with another video review. And today, thanks to the folks at Fans Toys, we're going to be taking an early look at the FT-14 Forager, the final member of their version of the Masterpiece Insecticons. As you can tell, this is their version of Kickback. And much like all of their figures that they've done, they do a really good job of kind of recreating that cartoon look and, you know, throwing in some toy elements, such as giving you the extra chest piece that is a more toy accurate representation of Kickback himself. But these guys really do know what they're doing with some of these Masterpiece figures. I'm really very impressed. And it's nice to finally have all three of these guys. As you can see, you got this little section right here that you can store his his only gun, but I just like leaving that up like that because that kind of looks weird sticking out there. But you got these really nice, you know, cartoon, and obviously toy I mean, there really wasn't a big difference between what the cartoon looked like and what the toys looked like, but they did a real great job of recreating that. I like the spikes that kind of stick out here. Obviously, you have that, you know, angled. I mean, he's a grasshopper, so that's what it basically boils down to. I like the really nice chrome wings right here. They are articulated, so if you wanted to flare those out a little bit like that, you could do it. Honestly, it doesn't really matter, but as a more Masterpiece style, it's nice to see that they added that articulation. I will say that the chrome, though, does make me worried, and I will be honest, mine actually broke. You can kind of see right here, it's part of the transformation, but there's a little chrome section right here. Mine on this side broke. It just really did shear completely off. You're not going to be able to see it because of how tiny it is, but it just sheared right off. Now, this is a test sample, so hopefully that's something that they work on in terms of tolerances for the final release. But even still, that's something that I would definitely be careful about when you're, you know, playing with yours. But real great representation in terms of insect mode here. He does have very rubbery antennae here. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that. They feel fairly sturdy, and honestly, when I'm rotating them, I kind of just come down here to the bottom and get a good grip on the base of it to kind of angle those up. That just makes me feel a little bit better as opposed to just like grabbing it and pulling it down, I guess. But they do feel fairly solid just in of itself. But that's the first time I really can recall them having very, very soft rubber kind of on their figure. So hopefully that holds up over time. Articulation-wise, you got the back legs that can move forward and back. I mean, these are the hips in the robot mode. These little legs here on the back can flex forward and back, and then they got a little joint right here. One thing that I will say is that if you remember the other ones, they gave us, you know, G1 toy style and updated style legs. We just got one pair of legs with this, which honestly, it doesn't bother me all that much because I think that one of the best benefits of having those, you know, G1 sort of legs was that in robot mode, they collapsed much nicer on the actual back of the robot. These ones here already do, so it actually works out pretty good. But so you do have those bits of articulation there. These sections right here for his shoulder, I guess, those rotate forward and back, and then these are on a whole bunch of different joints right here. You just kind of position these how you really want, but you can see where all those little pins are. That's an articulation joint. So it's fairly sturdy, and like I said, this is a test sample, so things will adjust for the regular retail release. But I think with all the ones that they give us, when we get these in hand, it's almost like they're just about final anyhow. It's really hard to see what they're going to improve because they are that good on these samples that they send out to us. So I'm really very happy with it. Accessory-wise, though, like I showed you, you do have a chest right here that allows you to make it look a little bit more toy accurate. And then you also do get a replacement, the kind of headpiece here for Grenadier. I still can never say his name. I'll show that off more here in robot mode. But a lot of people had a problem with this piece actually breaking on theirs. So what Fans Toys did is included with F-14, they're giving this extra little piece where the bottom section here is still plastic, but this is all die cast. So they replace the plastic and made it metal, which gives it a much sturdier feel to it. I mean, I definitely don't feel like that's going to break at all. Mine actually did break, and I had to glue it back on there, but again, mine was a test sample, so I wasn't sure if it was something that was going to be that way on the final one. It turned out to be that way on the final one, and unfortunately, a lot of people's broke, but I do like that they actually are giving you a replacement for it. So setting him there and bringing in all these guys for comparison. Obviously, I have, like I said, the G1 style legs here on both Grenadier and Mercenary here, but here they are. Here's all the Insecticons in their beautiful G1-y kind of glory, and these guys really do look absolutely terrific together. I mean, I'm so very happy with this and how these turned out. I'm just really super giddy. It's fun to have the Insecticons. I mean, they were such an integral part in the early seasons of Transformers that it's nice to have, you know, representations of them in my masterpiece display. You know, and they all scale-wise fit very nicely. One thing that I will say is that they really do have a hard time matching the colors of the chest here with different pieces. I mean, you can see much different color between this and Mercenary's chest, and then when you even look at Grenadier, I mean, that's a little bit closer of a color, I guess, but you can still see that this has a much deeper kind of yellow to it. So I do know that some fans really do complain about that, and I think it's a valid complaint. I really wish that the colors matched a little bit more, but I guess if you don't like it, you could always go with these, which do match. I mean, they're just, you know, a clear translucent, or I'm sorry, a yellow translucent plastic, so that matches pretty decently. But one thing I do actually like, I don't know how well that's going to come across, you can actually see they do have some paint application there. You got a little blue piece and then a little yellow bit painted on there, which is accurate to what the regular one has. You got a little yellow paint right there and a little blue on there as well, but we'll look at that more here in robot mode. But for insects, this is what you're looking at, and again, like I said, these guys really do look great together. Now, the Transformer, he's easy and difficult, I'd say, in the fact that there is a certain finesse in doing it. With the legs, though, it's ridiculously easy. So first, you're just going to lift this, get this out of the way, angle this out. This whole section kind of like lifts up and then goes over and then comes down. So you just need to lift this up and then stretch that out just like so, getting that lined up properly. Come around here to the bottom, rotate that out, and then you just collapse these down and in just like that, and it'll be kind of angled along that sort of the back section there. So again, on this side, we're just going to lift it up, accordion it outward all the way, put that down, and then again, I'll get that all collapsed in, bring this down, I'll bring the little foot out like so, bring that down, rotate this down, bring that up, and collapse that in just like that, and get that. So make sure you get that pushed in all the way. And there you have the legs, and very, very simple how to do that. Now the arms, though, do create a little bit of a problem. This section, like I said, unfortunately, on mine, that chrome bit broke off, which is really very unfortunate. Chrome can be fragile, so you do want to be careful. So when you're doing it, don't over push things, because I think that's what I did. I just took this section here, I detached this, is that there? Yeah, detach that right there, and I push a little bit too far, and it actually just pulled that off. It's a very stiff joint, so it's hard to tell how far it's actually supposed to go. So once you start meeting resistance, just stop. Like I said, this is a test sample, so I don't know if it's something that's going to be fixed on the final one, but if it's not, just be cautious when you're doing it. I should have talked about this. You're taking the back leg section and you rotate that around just like so, so that they're both forward kind of facing. Kind of get that out of the way, and then you need to rotate this around. So you want to open this, and then you need to rotate this around, and I did that the wrong way. Get that out of the way, bring this around just like that, and then you bring this section out, and it's, like I said, a little bit tricky to do. So you want to have it all the way up, and then you rotate this, and it creates a slot that allows this entire assembly to come out. So again, just put that there, kind of line that up. You can kind of see where it's going to be by keeping the wings kind of shifted back like that, so you can kind of see that. And then honestly, you just kind of reach in here, grab these hands, and this part does make me a little bit concerned because you're using a lot of force to pull this out. Initially it was a lot more difficult, so I will say that it does seem to get looser as you do it. So you pull it out and just make sure that you have these wings kind of out of the way, because you want to make sure that these slide out easily, and I don't think that it is. Let's see here. Keep that there. Keep that. Yeah, see, you got to get that just right when you're pulling that out. There we go. Pull it out just like that. And then you bring this around, this whole section here, just straighten that out. Then you rotate this around just like that. And then you bring this around, then bring that back up. You want to have this section with the screws kind of facing the back. So just angle this down, and then you can slide this whole section back and in. We'll adjust this here in a little bit, but now you have the arm basically where it needs to be. Gonna angle this down just like so, and then you can bring this section back and you can lock that into place like so. Do that on this side as well. Gonna give that a nice little push. Once you get one of the arms out, it's a little bit easier to pull the other one out. So pull that, wiggle that out just like so. And like I said, the little sliding ramp right here, this is a fairly sturdy plastic, but because you're pulling it, it does feel a little bit kind of scary when you're doing it. So again, then bring this around, rotate this whole section around like that, bring that around, and then you spin this around just like so, and you're going to angle. And do I have that all the way pulled out? I don't think I do. All right, and then you want to make sure, again, like I said, you have this section straight up like that. Get these angled and out of the way, and then you collapse this whole section back in on itself. Make sure you push that all the way, and then we'll fiddle with these arms right now. So get that loosened up. You want to take the lower section and you want to collapse those as far in as you possibly can. You just use those joints to kind of get it wedged in there. Let's see here. Come on, you just fiddle with it some. There we go. Till you get the lower legs really flat around there, and then you can bring this section down like so. And that kind of moved on itself. So you bring that down just like that, and make sure you kind of position these all up in there. And you can see that the back actually gets very, very flush with the, or these legs get very, very flush with the back. And then you take this, bring that up, just tabs that into place right there, rotate these arms down, spin this back like that, make sure that those are all the way back, then you rotate the head around. Now, one thing that's actually really very cool, and this is the last step to transforming them, is in the actual cartoon, a lot of times when you saw Kickback, you saw just a very plain face underneath in his insect mode, and that's just the way it is. They like removed the color of his face normally, and they didn't do anything else, and that's what you kind of have here. To get to that, though, that's a little bit tricky, and because we didn't get instructions, or I didn't get instructions, I had no idea what I was doing. But you got to come around here to the back of the head, and you can see there's a little split. I don't know how well that's going to come across. You got a little split going through the middle of the head. You literally take that, and you bring that back like so, and that's how you really kind of access this, especially when you're going back. It's easy to do here when you're going into robot mode, but when you go into the insect mode, that's what you're going to want to do. Then just, so when you have it like that, just take the head, push that back, pull out the other face. This section here then tucks up and under, and then you bring that down over there. And like I said, when you want to actually bring it out for the insect mode, you have to separate this piece to be able to push that section through. So that's how you do that, but we'll touch on that here in a little bit. So angling these little wings, and again, for some reason they don't look like they're all the way back. There we go. It feels like there's a little notch there that it has to catch onto, but there you have them. It is very cool, very cartoon, and very accurate looking robot mode. And again, I am absolutely blown away with how good that Fans Toys is able to recreate certain likenesses. This absolutely looks like Kickback. They did an amazing, amazing job on it. I mean, the colors on here are just about what you would absolutely need. The aesthetic, the look, everything on here. You come around to the back, and even the back just looks like an improvement over what they've done before. It just turned out so very nice. Now obviously you can see that I do have him holding his gun. It's a very nice chrome kind of Tommy gun looking thing, but it's got the laser kind of look to it. So really very nice. But now for a comparison, you gotta get it done here. So let's bring in the rest of their not Insecticons. And here he is next to Mercenary and Grenadier. And obviously, I got the little Decepticon logos on here. I'm going to have to add that on here. You can kind of see that right here is a little section that's kind of shaped where you could put one of those logos. But scale-wise, this is perfect. I mean, these guys all fit so very nicely. Obviously, that look and scale they were going for has kind of been kept uniform. But here, you can see that, you know, the chests really do kind of fluctuate in terms of the color, and you can see a different color on each one. That's something that does bother some people, and I can totally understand it. I do wish it was a little bit more uniform, but in general, the rest of the aesthetic really is quite nice on these guys. Bringing in another official figure for a comparison. Here you have him next to Masterpiece Soundwave, and again, these guys are supposed to be a little bit smaller than the main group, and you can see that these guys come up to about the waist area or so on Soundwave. So again, scaling wise, very nice. One other quick note about Grenadier here. Like I was talking about, you got this little piece right here. I did, like I say, have to glue mine on. It was really stiff for some reason, and moving it around, it did snap it off. But like I talked about, they do give you a replacement one where the actual gun section is now done in die cast. All you have to do is unscrew the little section here in the back of the head. You can detach that, and you can just slip this right in. Really very easy to swap that out. But you can see color-wise, it is the exact same piece. Some people talk that they wish that they got a chrome version. I'm very happy that they went with the same color as what the original one had. It doesn't stand out really now at all. But again, really nice touch that they decided to include that. It's something that I know I personally really do appreciate. For Forager himself, as you can see, just overall a great likeness. Now for his articulation, the head does rotate. It is on a bit of a ball joint, but you don't get much range of motion. You can see that it just kind of wiggles just a very little bit. If you go back too far, it just kind of pulls that whole thing. So there's a little bit of tilt in it, not a heck of a lot though. But you can get some kind of emoting with it. The shoulders here do rotate all the way around. They move in and out. They have a bicep joint. They have two joints here at the elbow. You come around here to the chest, and I guess you could say that this is an articulation point. That just opens up. And again, you got that replacement piece right here. You got little screws. Where's it at? You got a little screw on the side here that you just detach that. And you can put that on there, and that's, put that right there. That's roughly what it would look like, but I personally prefer that look, but I do like how they got a lot of extra detail kind of put in there. I kind of would have liked it if maybe they painted some of it, but you're not going to be opening that a heck of a lot, and honestly, that's only visible when you do have this on there, and even then, it's not all that visible. But again, real nice option here. So you do have that level of articulation there. The wrists do rotate. They move in and out at the main set of knuckles here. He does rotate at the waist. The hips move forward, they move back, they move in and out, they rotate at the upper part of the thigh, they bend here at two joints kind of at the knee, but really you only have one that you primarily are going to use, and it's that one. The ankles do tilt in and out, but you can see it's mostly just like the feet, or the toes, I guess. You can get a wide stance like that, but you can see that these still kind of go outward. So it's mostly just the toes that move in and out like that, and then you got a little toe flex right there. So lots of articulation in the guy. I really like the silver face on there. I like how they got that same kind of red chrome for his eyes. I just think it looks really very nice together. Again, like I talked about, the backpack here looks terrific. I mean, that is their best version of a backpack that they've done so far on these Insecticon figures. That just really comes together very nicely. You know, the other ones weren't bad, and they were made better by the, you know, G1 style feet that you could put on there, but this is just absolutely perfect. I think that that's amazing. They did so nice with that little bit of engineering, but in general, really very cool looking figure. I dig them a heck of a lot. Nice molded detail throughout the whole thing. You got some nice little highlights of color. You got some red and blue down there. Like I talked about, you got the little yellow and blue right here on his chest. Just basically what you would expect from a Fans Toys figure. It came out very well. Now, like I said, this is a test sample, so things will probably change on the final release, but what they'll change, I have no idea, because all of their test samples just seem to be as good as their production stuff. Now, to transform back, everybody shows you one way. You guys come to me because I show you both ways. What you need to do is come around here to the head and just lift this out of the way. And like I said, you want to get in the middle spot here, kind of lift that. You're going to tuck that head back, or that face back, and then you need to split this head in half. Fingernails usually help. There we go. And it's still not easy to do, to be honest with you. You kind of have to get something to still push it from the back. So you're going to push that head piece forward, and then you can take this actual face, put that back, and then you can bring that back down like so. Real easy, but there's still not a lot of space in there. So then you close that head up just like so, rotate it around, and then if you want to, you can angle these ears or antenna up a little bit more. It's personal preference. Come around here to the back of the figure. You're going to take this middle section, rotate that down, lift this up. Basically, you're just going to pull these pieces out, make it easier to kind of grab hold of them. So pull those out as much as you possibly can, just like so, and that, like I said, will make it easier to kind of pull that whole section out. Then kind of rotate this around. Let's see, where's that little, there we go. You got to bring this piece out. And again, it's a little bit tricky to do, but you want to just bring that out. Don't push too far, because like I said, I did, and my other piece broke off. So just bring that out, kind of line it up like so. Then you can grab hold of these arms and tug that out just like that. You're going to then rotate this whole section around, bringing the insectoid legs out. Bring this section down like that. Then you angle this back up, and you rotate this shoulder bit around. Bring this whole section around like that, and then bring that section where the purple bit is going to be facing forward, and then you can collapse that back in, pushing all the way, and now you have that section done. Rotate this piece around, you can bring that up, that'll lock that back into place, and then you can angle these all the way around. Rotate these around like so. This back section you're going to spin right there, and then you can position this really however you want to. You know, it is your figure, so you can angle these little arms and such in a way that you best like. I kind of like keeping them like that, where they're on a little bit of an angle kind of going forward. I think that looks kind of cool. But doing that on the other side, normally if you had that little peg, that little slot, you would pull that out, but I don't have to worry about that, so yay. So then spin this around, rotate these insect legs around like so. You're going to bring this around, bring this up, and keep just spinning this around till you line this segment back up here. And then you have, again, you want the purple section of the arms facing down, and then you push that all the way in just like that. Then you can angle that back, rotate these into whatever position you want, kind of flare these out how you want to, and then you come around here to the back of the legs. And again, these legs are actually really very, very simple. You can take this section, you can lift this up right now if you want to. It doesn't really matter. Mine, I always end up knocking it out. Then take this, extend these little insect legs out, fold that out like so. Then you lift this, then accordion this up and over the actual thigh piece. Take this, rotate this around, angle this like that, angle it so it's in this kind of upside down V sort of shape. That's the look you're going for. Do that on this leg as well. Angle that out. Then you're going to just lift this, shift this forward over the thigh, keep those kind of angled up like that, bring that down like so, fold that back, and then you just fiddle with some pieces, getting it in the way that you want it to look. But once you're done, there you have the Forager actually back in his grasshopper mode. And again, I am really very happy with how this particular figure turned out. All of their Insecticons have come out very, very nicely, but it just seems like this one, they took it a step further. The best part on this entire figure has got to be the way that they engineered the back. Getting these little insect legs to fold in so perfectly just really does kind of show you that they're always learning, that they're always evolving and trying to do better than what they did before. And I think that this figure is a prime example of that. Insect mode wise, this absolutely looks like Kickback. There's no mistaking it. This looks absolutely terrific, much like all their Insecticons. Aesthetically, they just nailed it with these. One thing that I'll also say is that the transformation on this guy is considerably easier. The arms can get a little bit tricky, but the overall flow for this is actually really very nice. And everything comes together to make a robot mode that looks terrific. Overall, this figure is wonderful, and if you are already collecting those Insecticon figures from Fans Toys, this is obviously a must-have. If you just want to add more Decepticons to your collection, this also is a great figure to have. So if you're interested in picking this guy up, it is available at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the Fans Toys figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.